Indie games and I go together like British people and unnecessary apologies. I always like seeing projects made by smaller developers with passion and real talent. Of course, not every indie developer is both talented and passionate. If you followed this channel for long enough, you've seen plenty of evidence to that effect. Some indie devs are just lazy hacks, shoving the same tripe out time and time again. Hell, on the PS Store at this moment, I count at least 6 clones of Flappy Bird released, all within about a week of each other. Of course, there could be a lot more by now. But let us ignore the talentless hacks of the world and how they're collectively dragging the very concept of an artistic medium through the dirt, before stopping to wheel over it and then proceeding to drag it through some more dirt, and the dirt has a bunch of furry Twilight fanfiction scrawled onto it. Also, the dirt is made of Lego. God, what a situation that is. Today we're looking at an example of an indie game made by people with a true vision in mind and a story to tell. We're also going to play a little game called How Much Can Ronica Pad the Video Out, and you'll get why as we're going through. If you enjoy these videos, then don't forget to like, leave a comment and subscribe for future videos. If you want to, you can support the channel further by going to patreon.com/RonicaReviews and pledging £1 a month, which will help me to keep building the channel and bringing you content, and it will also get you some nifty benefits. You'll get 24 hours early access to new reviews, a shout out at the end of videos, and you'll get to suggest new games for me to cover. But what if you want something more tangible back for your support? Then you want to head over to ronicareviews.teamor.com to get yourself some merch. We have several t-shirts for you to browse, a couple of tote bags, and even a jigsaw puzzle. Also, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like. You'll find links to everything here in the description below. Now, on with the video. Firewatch is one of those heavily narrative-driven games, the kind that I cannot get enough of because I simply adore a good story. It follows the adventures of a man named Henry who takes a job as a fire lookout in a national park in order to escape the hustle and bustle of his life for a few months. Having spent several years of my own life working in retail, I can understand the desire to run away to the woods. Of course, me and Henry both have different motives for wanting to run away to the woods, but we'll get into that. The game is, what we call in these parts, a walking simulator because walking is pretty much the main thing you do, and all I can think is, how must the pitch for the original walking simulator have gone? That must have been a pretty hard sell. No boss, it's like a regular video game, but all you do is walk. It's kind of like wondering who saw a cow for the first time and thought to themselves, I wonder what comes out of those 4 pink willies, I bet it tastes nice. And you just know it was Ugg, the tribe's resident weirdo who the others always used as saber-toothed cat bait. What the fuck am I on about? Firewatch's real claim to fame, or should I say claim to flame?
You should not.
Are the conversations that Henry can have with his supervisor, a woman named Delilah, with nearly every object that Henry finds providing the option to radio Delilah and discuss it in detail. Now you might be wondering how a game based around 2 people discussing discarded beer cans, condoms and bear scat would be interesting.
Literally no one was wondering this.
And this would be a fair question because on paper this sounds at best boring, at worst it sounds like a bloody stupid idea as a means of entertaining people. Naturally, something like this will not keep the attention of your standard energy drink COD addicted 15-year-olds that make up a decent percentage of gamers worldwide because if a second passes without an on-screen murder they consider it a waste of time.
Hey, come on, not all kids are addicted to Call of Duty. A lot of them are into Fortnite and Roblox instead.
Is that supposed to be better?
I can't imagine how it is.
Still, my point is that I can indeed see how such a concept for a game probably caused most people to lose interest in it and piss off back to TikTok. The thing is though, you have to be willing to let yourself enjoy this sort of thing. I know it might seem quite dull on the surface, but there is that old saying about not judging a book by the cover, a saying I never entirely understood because that's kind of what the cover is there for, but I digress. Something that Firewatch does really well is characters. We don't have a huge cast of characters, there are only like 6 people who even have voices, and of all of them we see precisely 0 of them clearly, only ever hearing them speak, and even then we only actually talk to like 3 people in active conversation, 2 of them being a pair of no good teenagers and the other being our lovely supervisor. Bit of an odd duck that Delilah, but I've got to say I really like her as a character, maybe just because I'm drawn to weirdos. Each and every one of the 6 real life friends I actually have are off their fucking nut, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Good people, kind people. Anyway, the video game. The game jumps between key days in Henry's time at the national park, which is in the Shoshone National Forest, Wyoming, and for some reason I'll never be able to look at the word Wyoming and not immediately remember Garfield explaining to us how it wasn't real.
There's no such place as Wyoming.
Early on, there are elements of a mystery being set up, starting with the sighting of a mysterious figure on our first night in the forest, and only getting deeper as we hear about missing campers, discover strange sites set up within the forest, and, well, actually I better not because I don't want to spoil the game. I typically only spoil games when either the game is a piece of shit or when discussing the plot is necessary and cannot be done spoiler free. I will say the mystery unfolds nicely as time goes on. We hear stories about a previous park ranger who up and pissed off one day and we're left with questions. Who is he? Who is the kid who was always with him? Where did he disappear to? Was he the figure who was stalking us on our first night, or did he have something to do with the disappearing campers? Obviously I know the answer to all these questions, but those were just the questions that I was asking while playing the game for the very first time.
Hey, I just wanted to know if you were going to talk about how pretty I looked.
Well, I guess now, because I can't really discuss the story in any greater detail without completely ruining it. I mean, I don't think it would ruin it per se, more just turn a first playthrough into a second, which isn't necessarily bad. You know what, I'll stop trying to rationalise this now. Yes, we'll talk about how you look.
Good. I didn't spend hours getting gussied up for you to gloss over it all.
Firewatch is, in a word, gorgeous. It's another game that might not be the most advanced, graphically speaking, but it's one that buckles down and nails its visual presentation and art style. The game makes a really good use of bold colours, with everything looking visually striking. Sometimes I just walk around the forest because I liked how everything looked. It was really nice to just be there, you know? I would also like to praise the voice acting and background music. On the side of the voices, the actors deliver respectable performances and manage to make their characters sound so human and alive.
Do you know Raleigh Fingers? He pitched for the A's.
No.
Well, I'm the spitting image of him.
Oh, wait, is he the guy with the snidely whiplash thing going on from the 70s? Oh, my dad loved him.
I would actively seek out new conversation fragments simply to hear Henry and Delilah chat. The gameplay in Firewatch is pretty much just walking, pressing a button to get past some specific terrain or over a particular obstacle, then walking some more, picking up an object to discuss it with the boss lady before getting back to the walking some more. It controls well enough, and there is something rather relaxing about a nice stroll through the woods, hearing the sounds of birds singing and taking in the sights of the nature all around me. It's why I try to go for a walk in the woods in the morning, because I just enjoy being outside, but now I can also enjoy it whilst sitting on the sofa pouring terrible snacks down my long-suffering food hole. Oh crap on a caribou, I think I've run out of things to say already. Firewatch, man, why you gotta be so short and sweet?
I won't apologise for knowing what I want to be and only sticking around for as long as I need to.
Jokes aside though, Firewatch is a lovely game and one I hold up as an example of a walking simulator done well. The thing is, developers of the world, if you want to make a walking simulator, and I've said this before back in my Summertime Madness review, then you've got to understand above all else the concept of tone. Tone is what such games live or die on, as it's the thing that's going to keep the player engaged. Even a fairly straightforward plot about a dude bumming around the forest is made all the more engaging when the tone shifted. We go from a quiet, serene walk in the woods to an unsettling mystery as we discover a destroyed campsite and later on a monitoring station set up in the woods as the mystery deepens. At the start of the game, we play Henry's journey to his new job. It's a trek interspersed with text stories from Henry's life. We learn about his wife and some good times, some bad times. This is a part of the game that makes me smile and also one that makes me choke up because the developers knew what they were doing. My point is that Firewatch absolutely nails tone. I will say the final mystery is a bit anticlimactic in a way, but I also think it was the perfect way to end this particular story. Had it been something grander, I don't think the game would be anywhere near as impactful or enjoyable, weirdly enough. The fact that the final answers to all the questions are as straightforward as they are makes the story pop for me. Henry clearly wanted there to be more because it kept his mind focused. Now it's all explained and over with, he has to face reality once again. Though I won't spoil it, I'd much rather you played the game for yourself. Firewatch really doesn't have anything to complain about as far as I'm concerned.
How about that we never got to look at any of the other characters?
That's true, but it lends to a feeling of isolation and one that serves the game really well.
What about that the game is short? Wait. We kind of goofed about that already. How about that we never see a Bigfoot? Yeah. What self-respecting game set in a forest has no Bigfoot?
Yeah, Look, Vera, you and I know there's nothing really left to say here. The game knows what it wants to be, and it is just that. It's the thing that it wants to be. Yeah, I think we're done here. Firewatch is a very good game with a very good story, and I highly recommend playing it. It's a game that does everything it needs to do in a short time, only having the mechanics that it needs, and is willing to sacrifice spectacle for some deep storytelling and a dynamic atmosphere that shifts with the story. In short, it's a good game. Recommend. There we go, that will do. Oh wait, I forgot to mention the camera you can pick up to take photos. Oh, I've just mentioned it. Huh. yeah, okay, we're done here. We'll see you next week. And yeah, I've pretty much given up on Find BCF for next week. That frustrating piece of shit. Besides, it's spooky month. I want to do something that's actually spooky. So, I don't know, Close to the Sun? Yeah, fuck it. We'll talk about Close to the Sun next week.